Hey, WokeNFree Nation. Newsly is an audio app for iOS and Android. It picks up web articles about the most trending topics on the web at any given moment and reads them to you in a natural human voice.
For the first time in the history of the internet, the entire web becomes listenable. Browse articles from topics you choose and start playing. Stop scrolling, start listening.
You can follow any topic as specific as you like, from sports, science, to Bitcoin, or even one of your favorite celebrities. It will find you the latest articles and read them to you aloud.
And they have podcasts as well. Explore trending podcasts from over 50 countries. Our podcast, WokeNFree, is there too.
Now let's get into the episode. Hi, it's Natasha.
And Khalil.
And we are the co-hosts of WokeNFree. Thank you for tuning in to our 245th episode of WokeNFree. If you've been tuning in every week for WokeNFree Wednesday, you know that WokeNFree is all about being real and honest with each other and you. We talk about everything and anything important to us, you, the world, and nothing is off the table. This week, we are asking a very interesting question, a question that has been asked for many, many years, which is, can men and women just be friends? But before we dive deep into the episode, a couple of things to cover. First, have you gone to WokeNFree.com to not only listen to this episode, but download it so that you can comment through the Podbean app? If not, please do so immediately. We want to hear your thoughts. We want to know what's your take on female and male friendships. Let's go into it. Now, if whatever device you listen to podcasts on, if for some reason you cannot download another app, that's okay. It's a little bit sad. But if you go to WokeNFree.com, go on the Listen tab, then you can pick your platform of choice where you want to follow and subscribe to us. So we're on iTunes, TuneIn, Stitcher, Google Play, our YouTube channel, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Pandora. It's a WokeNFree world. Tons of places. Pick your place, and definitely follow and subscribe. Now on WokeNFree.com, you can also click to subscribe to follow our show through the Podbean app, which we would greatly appreciate. And then on social, you can easily holler at us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, Pinterest, LinkedIn at WokeNFree. Now, if you have like 90 seconds, which you do, please give us a review. We'd love to hear how the show is feeding into you. Again, go to WokeNFree.com, go on the Listen tab, and then pick your platform of choice where you want to review us at. And I'm going to kick it to you, Khalil.
And the listeners know that before we start this conversation, guess what we're going to do? We're going to share a little bit about ourselves. This week, we're asking, would you rather be a deal maker or a heartbreaker?
Interesting. Okay. So for me, I definitely would say deal maker. I want to make money, not break hearts, even though one could argue that maybe I do a little bit of both. Ow.
Okay. You think you do both? With that special sound you made? You okay? You hurt yourself?
As shared by Cardi B through my interpretation. Yes.
Oh, that's what that was. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you for the explanation.
Yes.
All right.
And
that would sound like something different there.
Exactly, like pigeons in New York.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Wow. Well, for me, I have to go with deal making as well, because deal making, just like you said, involves money, and that's a pretty thing to go for. The money is always the cool thing to go for. Right?
As you sound so enthusiastic.
Yeah. But, I mean, if I chose the heartbreaker, that would be probably what people think of when they think of men and women being just friends. They would think like, oh, wow, that's just a lot of heartbreak going to be right there, right?
Nice.
But our episode is actually discussing, can men and women just be friends?
I'm so glad that you took us down this pathway for the episode. And so to kick the conversation off, I found an article on Daily Beacon, which goes through a lot of different evidence and thoughts that I thought would be really helpful for folks. So in short, the article does say that evidence shows, scientifically speaking, that men and women are capable of being just friends, but it is a little bit complicated. Friendship itself isn't, it's not super simple or
Can you break friendship down just to science? That's the funny thing.
That's an interesting question. That might be another episode, actually, but there are a lot of factors that go into friendship, according to the article, including ones that are between men and women or cross-sex friendships. And in studies that conducted interviews of people who had close cross-sex friendships, which they talk about in greater detail in the article. Some would say that the attraction they felt for that person wasn't the same as it might be for their significant other. And that friendship, as it's supposed to be platonic in nature, can be thought of as an emotional bond with another individual that will not have any sense of sexual attraction. And that's how you're able to have that friend zone with the person. But, it isn't simple. It definitely can get complicated. Why? Because you're forming an emotional attachment to someone. And does that preclude you having a sexual attraction? No. But in theory, if you are just friends, then it should just be kind of this love bubble of just platonic love. But, it can sometimes get frustrating if one or both parties start to develop more feelings for each other. And so I would argue that people should open their minds if they feel like they're on one side of the argument or the other, and then definitely click on this link to read a little bit more about the science. I don't want to give it all away. Yeah. But what are your thoughts here?
Well, mine is completely unscientific is what I look at. So I think it's definitely true that men and women can be friends. It's kind of like the percentage is very rare. It's very tiny and small. It may be, I'm just going to make up a percentage because that's what you do when you're on the internet. Let's say 5% of men and women. Very Gary V of you. Nice. 5% of men and women can just be friends and nothing else.
Oh, so I'm within that category. Nice.
the small slither of the 5%.
Listen.
I'm just saying. Well, the reasoning I have this is because I look at some of the relationships that are found on TV because they have some of those.
Exactly, because that's the best parameter for real life.
The best non-scientific example I have.
Content, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Because guess what? Sometimes art imitates life. So,
sometimes, every time, yeah.
Yeah, so that's the only reason I'm going to take some of these people that I found on Screen Rant. So the first couple is Sheldon and Penny from The Big Bang Theory.
Friend couple, okay.
Yeah, they're just friends, but they're male and female couples. And then Meredith Grey and Alex Karev from Grey's Anatomy.
Oh, okay.
Don Draper and Peggy from Mad Men. There's a lot of push and pull on that. I actually know that couple. I don't know the other two couples, but I listed them because these are popular shows. That's why I listed that. And then Toph and Sokka from Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yes.
That's another relationship where they were strictly platonic. Okay. But I mean, they were young, but they didn't have there was no sort of like, oh, we have feelings for each other.
Okay.
So that's a good one. And a good one that I haven't seen this show, but a lot of people have, is Joey and Phoebe from Friends.
Absolutely. Okay. So then that leads us, since you've taken us now the fictional route of addressing this question, what's your personal take on male and female friendships?
I mean, to me, as long as they are honest with each other, I think that it is possible that male and female can just be friends, because just think about it. It's almost like if you see them as a family member, you don't see that as somebody you're going to pursue. I mean, most people won't.
Yes.
I'm not talking like West Virginia. But
I knew you were going that direction. Retract that in your mind and in your life.
Oh, okay. Retract it from a state. State retract it.
Yep.
And I think but on, what is it, Game of Thrones, they have those kind of weird relationships too. So
historically we've made that
we're going to talk about like modern society, right?
Yeah,
we understand that's not we don't do
kosher.
that. Yeah. So if you take the relationship like that and you honestly see them as, hey, that's like my brother there, then I don't think that you'll have an issue here. I just think the problem comes up when the two people are very flirty. Then that's got to make you wonder a little bit. Like, it could possibly lead to you guys hooking up one day if you think about it. If you're just like, oh, come here, let me tickle you, and then, oh, that's so funny, and you're so great, and I don't know, all these little play words.
Great.
Yeah. If you say any of these play words to each other,
to a friend who's of this,
not after you just tickled them, though.
Oh, not after you tickled them. Okay.
Yeah, if you do these like certain physical or even just verbal plays that it goes a little far.
Okay.
It goes a little further than a friendship would. Then I think that could be an issue.
Okay.
You just gotta have like pure fun with them and be like, this is a homie that I can hang out with, not
absent the tickling. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Yeah,
fair enough.
It's possible. It just really depends on the type of relationship
you just have to be not 7, yeah.
And you can't do stuff that you would do to somebody that you're dating.
Look at my genitalia. Kind of
so don't like spear beer on the woman's shirt, don't do that.
Yeah, or, mess with her.
Purple nurples?
Exactly. So before we go down a bad path, I'm going to answer here. And I would say some of my most treasured and enjoyable friendships to this day have been with men. And so for me, I personally am a fan of female and male friendships. But I do agree with you. It is important to be mindful of your behavior, not only just what you're saying, but how you physically interact with the person. And, have I been in a situation where a friendship has turned into something more? Yes, but I was young and fun, and I was curious, and it was intentional. And I think that if you, and going back, do I regret that? No, but I would say that, there is always a scenario where you're going to take something to the next level. And so as long as both parties are like, look, you're my dog, you're my homie, then you can keep things in the platonic manner and they don't have to turn into something weird.
But the key is the both parties there, because both parties don't always agree to that kind of thing.
Exactly. Both parties have to be on the same page with that. Exactly. Now, what would you say are the benefits for men and women being friends?
Well, there's 3 that I think of, and the first one is it's great to be able to see the other side's perspective. So often when you're with like people of the same gender, they can't see different perspectives. They kind of like just be on your side, and you won't really know like, hey, I wonder what that other person's thinking. So I think that this is kind of a benefit of having a cross-sex friend. And then even them just giving you insights into like actions that you do rather than just
seeing things your way.
Yeah, seeing things your way. So those are things, benefits that can come from that. So my last point is that, so what happens is sometimes you don't know, like, let's say you just met somebody and you don't know, like, should I wait to contact them or should I just contact them now? And sometimes your friends say, hey, don't contact them yet. Yeah. Just like, wait a few weeks and then make them wait. Yeah, see, often it's your gender doing that, but if you go over to the other one, then it's different.
Yeah, exactly. So I would say that I totally agree with you that there are different having a different perspective is super helpful. There's some really cool points on thegoodmenproject.com, which definitely you can get that link on the website. I would also add, having emotional support with a person who's a different gender from yours, without the messiness that comes with sex or relationship. I think that is super helpful. Also, learning how to have healthy relationships with someone in the opposite gender of yours can be really helpful. And you can try that out and learn through that process with a friend who's across gender from yours. And then also, it's also like a nice way to revisit your youth as an adult, because there was a time when like little boys and little girls can be friends, before you get to that awkward stage of, they have cooties and, all that nonsense. Yeah. And I know now things have changed given the gender fluidity for which we live in. But if we keep things within, just kind of the cisgendered perspective, boys and girls can be friends and before it gets weird. And it's really nice to be able to revisit that as adults and just be like, look, you're my homie, you're my friend. And there's not like any weird situation where things are going to get awkward.
Yeah, that's true.
You're now listening to Woke and Free.
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 A podcast that keeps it real and honest.
What are the biggest challenges to men and women being friends?
So glad that you asked. So one is when your friend, who is of the opposite sex or gender from you, is attracted to you and wants to be more than friends. I think that could be slightly problematic. Next is your friend, the cross-sex or cross-gendered friend of yours. It has a partner, and that partner may not appreciate them being close to someone who is of the same gender of them. So kind of like your bestie is a guy and his girl doesn't appreciate her guy being close to another girl, right? It can get, and vice versa. So it can kind of get a little bit funny and funky there.
That's true.
And then what if you are friends now, but you used to be lovers. But you're trying to just be friends now.
You're born again friends.
Exactly. Gets a little dicey there. So those are some of the challenges that came to mind when you asked me that question.
Yeah, and a couple more I would like to add is that getting people to believe you're just friends, I think that's going to be a tough challenge for you because people are going to believe, you guys are so close. I don't know. Something else is going on there. Then a big challenge just for the couple themselves, or not the couple, I guess the friends, is sleeping in the same room after a long night. I don't know. That just seems like, again, it could lead to somewhere. So I've got to be careful with that kind of thing.
Okay.
And another thing is getting overly intoxicated together because... Yeah,
get dicey.
Yeah, will your friendship still remain or will something more blossom from that?
Uh-oh.
And again, in terms of like significant others of that, the people in the cross friendship, is that if you spend a lot of time together with them, I think they're going to get actually jealous, the significant others. They're going to say, hey,
1,000%.
guys, what's going on here? So those are some issues that can come up.
Thirsty. 1,000%. Okay. So... what tips do you have when it comes to female and male friendships then?
I would make sure that this is someone you would never have relationships with, even if both of you are single. That's a good tip. The next thing is you need to both trust each other physically. So no one should ever joke about sleeping together because otherwise, then things may happen if that intoxication thing comes up.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, be careful with that. And another thing is don't share each other's naughty parts with one another.
So elaborate there.
So no sexting.
No sexting. Okay,
yeah, because
so
you might be
that
being
out
funny.
For people.
So sexting is sending an organ or a genital to somebody on your phone.
Yeah.
Like texting that. You shouldn't do that.
Even though, what if
you?
I don't know. Do men do that?
Some guys do that. I mean, I never knew people like that, but I've heard of that. That there's people who send their junk to people. So yeah, you shouldn't be doing
that
with
someone of the same gender, but
yeah,
you
but
somehow
not with,
can't do it of the.
No, you can't because if your significant other sees it, then they're gonna think something's up.
Oh, okay.
And you can't tell them it's an OnlyFans friend. They're not gonna fall for that.
Exactly.
They're not gonna fall for that. Like that's.
They're too woke and free for that.
Yeah, they're like, nope. I know who that is. I could tell. So don't do that kind of stuff. And the last thing is you probably shouldn't try to hide this friendship from others. Because you might say that, let's not even bring it up because people are going to think it's more than it really is. So I think if you do that, they're going to eventually find out and be like, why are these people sneaking around together? That just seems kind of weird. Are they up to something nefarious?
Interesting.
Like, what's really
what if they're
going on
trying
there?
To start a whole new startup or something?
Yeah, well, they should say we got something in store for you guys, a big surprise. Yeah. Just wait, don't
baby
worry.
On the way.
Yeah, see, and they're just friends. See,
exactly. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
All right, so I recommend the following. Those are good tips. First, get to know the other person. People with good intentions typically don't go out of their way to disrespect other people or cross boundaries. So if you know the person well enough, then you should know if this is a person who is worthy of being your friend and also gonna be the type of friend that you're looking for in your life. Next, make sure that this person shares the same moral or similar moral and values to you. So for instance, if you don't believe in cheating, then if you have a good friend and they happen to be of a different gender than you, then hopefully that person also shares that same principle. Because if they are cool with cheating and you are not, then that could be a problem, right? Because they're not going to see the issue of cheating as big. They're not going to take it as seriously as you would because that your moral compass is not in alignment.
But that doesn't mean they want to cheat with you though, just because they like to cheat.
True, but it opens up the possibility that they are open to it, right? So it's I think it's just easier if you can kind of just have alignment there.
That's true.
Also, create healthy boundaries with your partner and your friends. So to your point earlier, your partner is always going to feel a certain kind of way if they feel like what you share with them is also shared with other people. So there should be things that you share with your partner that isn't probably shared with your friends. And that's really easy because you sleep together, right? So you have sexual intimacy. So, I don't think it's that much to ask for that you also reserve certain things you talk about or maybe don't talk about that you keep with your partner, and that's separate and apart from your BFF or your your homie who also happens to be of a different gender than you. That way your partner won't be as jealous of that friendship, hopefully, but it is hard. People easily get jealous, so.
Yeah, there's a lot of jealous people.
It's something to keep mind of. Also, go into this friendship with the right intention. You know, I definitely would say that I have and again, as a child, you're like, oh, okay, I want this person in my life, so maybe I can start as friends, and maybe it can be something more like, cool, you can play those games
some people
when you're...
leave the door open.
Yeah, but you can do that when you're a kid, but like once you're an adult and like people's hearts and, you know, lives are at stake, that's not cool. Like if you want to be friends with someone, you should want to be friends with them, not like I want to open the door to I
would say if you do, you should just let them know. Don't just keep that to yourself. Like say,
well, yeah,
hey, I want to be friends, but you know, it might develop into something more, and just see if they're comfortable with that. Because if they say, hey, I know this has to be a friendship only and nothing more, then you can say, well, I guess we can't be friends because, you know, I want to get in those pants.
Exactly. So that type of Felicity episode is not what most people are ready for, I think. So I don't know if that's going to go over well, but you know, maybe.
But you got to be honest with them, because if you don't, then
but that's sounds super creepy. I want to be your friend, but I also hope I can hit it.
Not that. It says I can't be your friend because I want a chance to be able to be with you possibly in the future.
What is this, like Pride and Prejudice? This sounds so dramatic.
Because what would happen? Because it's kind of like if the person says, no, I strictly want to be friends, but you say,
oh, I cannot be your friend.
But then you say, well, I may have feelings in the future. What do you do? What would you do in that? That could be a situation.
Gosh.
See, what you suggest to the person to say, well, I want it to be more than friends, and the other person says, no, it can never be more.
What's more meaningful to you, the friendship or the possibility of being with the person sexually?
Well, the friendship's really meaningful for you. It's meaningful for you, but the other person said, we can't be friends if you possibly want more than that.
Yeah, so you have to, if that's what the other person's stance is, then have to
change for the person?
Well, yeah, if the friendship is that meaningful to you, then you need to keep your other feelings at bay and maintain that friendship if the friendship is that meaningful to you. But if you're really only interested in really getting in that person's pants, then probably don't have a relationship, because you're just gonna keep skipping go and going on the board for more, and so that's just going to be problematic. And then I would say my last tip is to trust your gut. It doesn't matter what other people think about you or your relationships or your friendships that you have. If you find a good person in this world that you want to be friends with, and they happen to be the same gender or opposite gender to you, like, who cares? It is rare in this world to find good people and to have true connection with people that are good. So hold on to the real ones in your life, and, you know, don't get so caught up on like what the world thinks. Cause like to your point earlier about like, if people believe that you guys are friends, do you believe you're friends and that's an honest, great relationship that you have, then keep it moving, because people will always talk smack. You cannot live for other people. So
that's true.
Do you?
Here we go, yo. So what's a scenario? It's scenario time, guys. Scenario 1. Zelanya and Balatelli have been best friends since high school. They dated all of each other's friends and are now single. At work, they like to brag to coworkers that they have a pure friendship and are best buddies with no strings attached. If you were a coworker of theirs, would you believe that their relationship is purely platonic?
Probably not, because this seems super like Dawson's Creek in nature, where everyone's very incestual and they're in this dating vortex, and I'll date your partner and your partner dates me, and it's just getting a little bit messy and sloppy.
It's cross-pollination.
Definitely. It's a little, I don't want to be judgmental, but so I'll just say it's interesting.
Because some friendship groups operate like that.
Yeah, thankfully I've never been in those. I've had a friend, quote unquote friend, who proceeded to, date like all my girlfriends. But, you know, at the end of the day, I would say that type of scenario, probably because they seem like they're pushing it too hard. Like, we're only friends. And it's like, okay, well, why is your genitalia out in the lunchroom?
Yeah.
It just seems like there's something more going on there, but.
Because why does one of them sit in the other's lap? That's what I would ask.
Exactly.
Is that seems kind of suspect.
Maybe that person has a wonderful, thighs.
Yeah, and then why do the gluteus maximus has to touch the thigh of someone else?
Because
that's just a friend.
And yummy.
And you're saying, and you both are single now. You're single people, and this a lot of touchy feely, ooh ah,
to be young
things
and
happening.
fun again.
Maybe they're young. I don't even know but they might be in their 90s. I don't know.
Hey, you were young. Young is a mindset. It's not an age.
They could be 90s. We don't really know.
Good.
Here.
You better get it on, pop it. And they're still working. That's a shame.
They love what they do. That's not a shame.
Well, only in that circumstance.
Oh, okay.
But if they're working to live, then this is a
I mean,
disaster.
yeah.
Then they need to listen to our financial episodes.
Then that'd be interesting.
Yeah.
They gotta look at some crypto or something. I don't know. It's just kind of crazy there. Scenario 2. Mona and Sion met on a dating app, but on the first date realized they were not sexually attracted to each other. Instead, they really just had a blast together and laughed most of the night away. Mona told her friends about the date, and they think she should try another date to really see if Sion should be stuck in the friend zone. Do you think she should go on another date or just hang out strictly as friends?
Again, this is where you can get caught up making life decisions based on foolishness of what other people have to say. Trust your gut. If Mona feels in her spirit that Sion is better suited for her as a friend, then she should absolutely keep him in the friend zone, and they should absolutely enjoy their company. It sounded like they didn't necessarily have a sexual attraction, but it sounded like they had a good connection. And again, human, good, true connection is rare. Hold on to that, have fun, ignore the silly girlfriends, and don't do anything that your gut tells you not to do. Just go with your gut.
Yeah, to me, the friends, they're just giving you armchair advice. Like, they did not even meet the person. How can they really tell you that maybe this can be more? I think you spend enough time to make that decision. Yeah. And it's like you both came to the mutual decision. Yeah. So to me, that's good enough. Like, there's no... and
there's
nothing
no
else
bad
to
feelings
do.
here. It's like you guys still like each other as human beings. So have fun.
Have fun.
Go out and
don't try to ruin it, because sometimes you do that and you get put off by the person because you're like, well, we shouldn't have tried to force this, and it can ruin the friendship. So I would not listen to them. They didn't even meet the person.
Exactly.
It's weird. Scenario 3. Peta and Ali met at a social gathering event and ended up hooking up that night. They ended up having a short fling and decided it would be better to be friends. Now they both are married and haven't seen each other in a long time. Peta suggested that they go on a vacation together since his wife and Allie's husband will be out of town. Is this a good suggestion from Peta?
I just know if I had suggested that to you, you would probably verbally threaten me.
I don't verbally threaten you. I just say there's lots of things that can be purchased.
Exactly.
There's many items to be purchased.
Exactly.
That's all I say.
Threatening images of weapons throughout our home.
I'm not saying there's secret places to hide things.
That's hilarious. So I think hard pass here. Hard pass. And for the reason that it's not like they maintained a relationship thereafter their breakup. It's as if they're kind of possibly trying to rekindle something in the past, but from a platonic perspective. And that just seems bizarre to do that from a vacation perspective. Maybe go out to have lunch, maybe, right? But not, hey, I haven't seen you for a while, but we used to kick it, but, I know what your junk looks like. Like, it's getting a little bit weird.
Let's go hang out for a couple weeks.
Yeah, like, go hang out at a cafe. Don't go to Bora Bora and hang out. That's a little bit too romantic. It's a little bit too sexy. I think things could go dramatically wrong, especially given that they're both married. And it's really important to respect your friends or people in your life and their partner. Even if you have feelings for someone, it's just bad etiquette. to be like, hey, I just want to disrespect your spouse, right? Like, everything happens for a reason. That's what I think is so funny about people, that you don't realize that, like, if something is meant to be, it will be. And so you need to recognize that in this scenario, it seems like they're trying to force something. So no bueno.
Yeah, this is a strictly bad suggestion from Peta. It doesn't make it's not sensical in any manner. It's not going to fly by. I don't think the spouses would let that go either.
Polyamorous or something. I mean, I'm not.
Like, I don't know if Peter's going to tell his spouse or what. I don't know what's going to go on, but
he better not.
It shouldn't. like, Allie needs to just swat this idea away
Yes.
and be like, yeah, right, that's a good joke.
Yeah, that's a great joke.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's about it, because you can't do this, that you're married, right? This doesn't make sense.
It's not ideal if you want to stay married. Yeah.
Yeah, there's too many risks here by you
now
guys.
you can go
if you
to
actually
friends
did it.
with people. You can go on vacation with people you actually have a friendship with. But to your point, though, all parties have to be informed, and people need to be good with that.
People.
Like,
and then if they're good with it, you could. But even then, it's still
a little bit dicey.
I know it still could be suspect. This case is definitely there's no way this would be a good idea. No way. But even in the case that they were in touch a lot, and then they said, "Hey, me and you going on a vacation," it just gets like, well, no one else can come. I mean, you only want to go on vacation with this one friend. I don't know. It's suspect. Since
I mean, I
married.
understand it, because it's like, what if you like really enjoy that person's company, and you know that if other people are around, it's going to change the vibes, and you're like, ooh, I just want time with my friend.
Watch this.
And the thing is, if they were of the same gender, no one would blink
I
an
know
eye.
that's true.
And that's
Yeah,
what's
they're
so
just,
frustrating
it's 'cause it's a
about
boys or girls night out
cross-gender
or
friendships,
vacation.
where it's like the rules have changed, and that's just so unfortunate.
But this is what's great about this day and age. There's one answer to this problem that some people might have. You're not going to even expect it.
That surprised me.
Metaverse. Drop the mic.
Yeah, but you're not going to Bora Bora. You're just seeing pixelations of it. I mean...
Yeah, but you can get the high quality one, or you can build that if you want that one. You can build that out.
It's not the same as putting your feet in the sand, Khalil. And
you can buy a sandbox, put your feet in the sand, and then look into your head.
And if I said I want to be a cat, I should get myself a litter box too and meow and pee in it. I mean,
well, then you have to get the cat urine from from a veterinarian and say if you can borrow that, and they're going to look at you and say, "Why do you need that?" And you say, "I just want to be a cat."
You don't respond. You just meow.
No, but you can't do that. You don't want them to know that you're up to some creepy stuff.
Okay.
In your metaverse, you're going to do different things. But see, that's what's cool now. You don't even have to go on vacation with the cross-sex person. You can just go on the metaverse.
Cross-gendered, friendship.
You don't have to do all that. You see, Sal, and no one will be mad about that. I mean, at least for now. Maybe that'll be a thing, though. They'll say,
well, you can go.
No, but I'm saying in the future, it might be wrong for you to go into the metaverse with a friend that's a different gender.
I have a real horrible question. What if you are friends with someone and you like to play around and do non-friendly, like more than friendly things in the metaverse? Does that constitute as cheating?
Oh, I mean, it depends on, are you actually talking and saying stuff to them? Or are you just pressing, or there's only 3 keys you press and things happen? Because then technically it's like a game.
No, they're talking and they're rubbing and I've never been in the metaverse, so I'm just speaking off the top of my head. But if it was possible,
like a game,
if it was possible to get it on, if friends did it in the metaverse and didn't tell their partners, is that a problem?
Is that really cheating? I mean, it's funny because technically getting married in the metaverse is fake. That doesn't count as anything.
That's not legally
but engaging in sexual games with another person. Well, all right. Do you know the person or is just a stranger?
Oh no, this is their friend. That's what I'm saying. Like they're homies, but they like to like play around and do a little bit more in the metaverse.
This is funny. This is actually a Black Mirror episode.
Oh, that's so interesting.
But it was a little more freaky than that.
Okay.
It was. Well, I'll say it just, I mean, I don't know with that. Well, you could watch the episode anyway, but it wasn't a cross-gender friendship. It was people that were friends in real life. It was 2 guys. They were friends in real life and they were playing a fighting game in the metaverse, basically.
But then they were getting it in.
But they, one was playing a male character, one was a female character, and they just, one time they started to like get it on and then they just kept doing it ever since because it's like, it felt different.
Oh wow!
But in real life, they weren't attracted to each other.
Yeah,
and they try and they see this and let's see if this, and they said nah, this is not. But in the game, they would like to do it. And then the partners found out it was a whole thing. Like that was crazy. But to me, technically, I would constitute that as like a cheating thing because you got to at least tell the person that you're gonna. I mean, your partner would have to be okay with you virtually messing up, even though it's funny, it's fake. But the problem is those hormones go off in your head, and it might be fake, but in your mind, it's not fake, and that's the problem. Like in the mind, you're being stimulated.
This whole conversation is like intellectualizing what is sexual cheating and not. I mean, it's so funky.
Because the problem is that's not because now you're engaging in an action with somebody else. It's not just a personal thing. It's like you're both engaging each other to create pleasure for each other.
You engage sexually, but
with the AI,
then it's all fine.
Yeah, because then AI is like nothing. AI is not whatever thing.
All day long.
That's not biased. It's true. Think about it.
We're gonna have to do a whole episode on this. We're gonna have to.
AI is different than an actual person sitting behind there.
Weird, everyone.
Yeah, see, you brought that up because AI is different.
Yeah. I see
AI
where
doesn't
you're
count.
going, sir.
There's no bridge that I'm on. That's what I'm saying.
I know. Where you're going, there are no bridges.
I'm giving you some ethics. I'm giving you some ethics lessons here.
You are destroying
Not
my
giving you
mental
ethical lessons.
capacity to
I'm
deal
giving
with
you
this
ethical lessons
conversation.
because AI doesn't mean anything. That's the good thing.
But it means everything.
No, it doesn't. Another person does. Another actual person who can put together new ideas and not have to be fed all this data to figure out stuff.
It looks like we are at that time again. It is coming to the end of our 245th episode of Woke and Free. Quite the episode discussing can men and women just be friends. We cannot wait to hear your thoughts as well as for you to tell us what you thought about our opinions. Agree, disagree, totally different. We want to hear it all. So make sure you go to WokeNFree.com. Make sure you have the Podbean app so you can download it and download the episode and then share your thoughts in the comments. Khalil, now what do folks have to do?
Come back next week for the new Woke and Free Wednesday episode. Make sure you follow us on social media to follow on the conversation, and make sure you tune in next week for Woke and Free Wednesday to join the conversation at WokeNFree.com.
So we are definitely lined up with guests for pretty much this year, but of course, as we get closer to the end of the year, definitely connect with us for possible features for 2023, and you can do that on our Contact Us page at WokeNFree.com. That's WokenFree.com. And for social media, you can always hit us up at Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, Pinterest, and LinkedIn at Woke and Free. And for all sponsorship or collaboration ideas, hit us up on our Contact Us page at WokenFree.com.
If you didn't already subscribe, please do share the episode and make sure you come back to join the conversation every Wednesday for Woke and Free Wednesdays. Remember, Woke and Free is more than a podcast. It is a way of life. Until next time.